Hey, boo. Hi. Try and see if a few more people will hop on. If not, then I will start with you two lovelies. Hey. Well, I will start with you guys. So I hope you guys are enjoying your Monday. So yes, I know some of you may be on spring break, so I hope you guys are really enjoying yourselves. I'm still working, so not on spring break just yet. Yeah. But so as you guys know, I'm in my series giving you guys my top 5 tips for parents, teachers, aunts, uncles, anybody that work with kids who want to help them be able to better manage their emotions. And so my tip number 5 today is helping your child identify their triggers. And you know, this is even something good even for us as adults, because sometimes we don't exactly always know what are those things that set us off. And triggers are those things that set us off, that make us tick for no apparent reason. It's just something about that thing that we're just like, I just don't like that, how that makes me feel. And that's the same with kids too. And it's really good to even ask them, what was it that was said to them, or what was the situation that made them go from 0 to 100, even though that really like isn't always the case, because people always be like, oh, my kid goes 0 to 100, but you'd be like, it's really stuff that leads up to that for them to get to that place. It just happens too quick. And so that's the goal of these tips, is to kind of help your child be more in their body and more in control of what they're feeling and when they're feeling it. And so tip number 5, like I said, is to help them identify their triggers. And so I'm looking down just to make sure I'm covering different stuff that I have on my notes. And so some questions again is to ask, what situations set them off, and what are their triggers feeding? And so some of the things that the triggers could be feeding could be like for approval, for autonomy, so them having more independence, them feeling that they are being done wrong, so an injustice being done to them, envy, shame, pride. Those are all things that can be reasons for why something is triggering to them, even to us as well. And did you know sometimes though that triggers can be passed down? And so when I mean passed down, so things that may have upset our parents, that we've seen upset them, may be the same things that upset us because that's what was modeled in front of us. So again, that's going back to my very first tip of modeling. And so even for me as a parent, I try to be very cautious of what I allow to trigger me, especially in front of my kids, because them seeing that as an annoyance of some sort for me, they can take on that persona and allow those things that are my triggers to be their triggers. But that is not the case. So I have to be cautious and model what are my triggers even in front of them. So again, that's tying it back to tip number 1. Let's see, what else? Let's see, what else? Yeah, just that. Do anybody have any triggers that they notice of their students or their kids right off the bat that they notice? Hi, Ashley. Hey, Mika. And so for you guys that are just joining on, I'm talking about my 5th tip to help parents, teachers, anybody that interacts with children, help them be able to better manage their emotions. And so my tip number 5 is helping them to identify their triggers. And so we know triggers are those things that set us off. And, you know, this is really good even for us as adults always to be cognizant of what our triggers are. And I was just sharing how sometimes triggers can be passed down because of what is modeled in front of our kids, and they can take the ownership of some of those triggers affecting them and being triggers for them even as they get older. And I was just asking, does anybody notice any triggers for their kid or their students that they work with? Teacher, I can totally feel the behavior of my scholars turn if I'm anxious or upset. It's adding gasoline to a fire. So I have to stop, pray, and calm down. Exactly, Chanel. That is very good that you said that. Because they're feeding off of us. And again, it goes back to that, what are we modeling for them? You know, so that's very good though, that you are very aware and in tune to even their emotions, and you can gauge that in the classroom. So that's really good. That makes me so excited. Especially hearing teachers say that. So I'm so excited, yay. Anybody else? Let's see. Anybody else? If not, just to kind of give you guys a bonus tip for, so like a little special bonus tip is just, you know, seek additional support if needed. If the child's emotions become too intensive and where it's too draining for you, because say if they're struggling with being able to handle their emotions because of some kind of trauma, so whether it was like a natural disaster, some kind of abuse or abandonment, they may need a licensed therapist to be able to work with them to flush out those emotions and feelings, and providing that safe space for them to talk about those things, as well as somebody being able to work with them on specialized coping skills to deal with traumas that are that impactful to their emotional development. Because again, just a little tidbit, trauma stunts your brain development. And so, you know, I would definitely encourage, if your child has experienced any kind of trauma, to seek out additional support. A trigger for my son is feeling unheard. It's so easy for adults to forget that children are people as well and deserve to be heard and respected as well. Tanya, that is really good. And you know, the thing about triggers, many of the times it comes off almost in an angry form, but anger is a secondary emotion. And so that's where we have to take the step back, even as parents, teachers, whoever, and be like, okay, what is the real issue? And if we break down all of what is seeming to be the anger pieces, you may come where, like you said, your child is feeling unheard, so he's not feeling valued, like what he has to say is important. You may come to find out that the child is really scared about something or feeling embarrassed about something. But again, it takes having to build that relationship and allowing the child to be heard. So I'm glad you shared that. Thank you. Let's see. Anybody else? If not, I thank you guys so much for joining me. Continue to follow me, and if you have not yet signed up for my newsletter, I definitely have a lot of mental wellness goodies in there. And then you will even get, once you sign up, you'll get a 10% coupon that you can use on some merchandise that I have coming to the shop soon. So I'm so excited for you guys to see that. Oh, thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Chanel. Thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it. So I thank y'all for talking to me and sharing your experiences. I so appreciate it. So yes, so stay connected with me and sign up for the newsletter. You can click the link in my bio to sign up for the newsletter. And like I said, you'll get a 10% discount that you can use on some merchandise I have coming soon. So I'm so excited for that. And be the first to know different stuff that's happening with the Evolving Chair, all within the newsletter, different publications that I'm a part of, highlighting different mental wellness topics for adults and children. So just a whole host of things, information about my podcast. So yeah, so thank you guys again for joining me for my Mindful Mondays, and I'll see you next week. I haven't decided yet what I'm gonna talk about just yet, but if you have any ideas, please shoot me an email at Lakeisha, so LAKIESHA at the Evolving Chair, TheEvolving.com, and shoot me an email if you have a topic that you would like to be discussed further. Yeah, so until next time, you guys be well, and thank you again.